For decades, we've been told that Mars is nothing more than a cold, dusty graveyard, a world of rocks, craters, and ghosts. But what if everything we were taught was a carefully constructed narrative designed to keep the most world-shaking discovery in human history under wraps? Just moments ago, a series of high-resolution images from the latest Martian orbital reconnaissance missions were leaked, and the confirmation from the highest levels of the scientific community is finally in the region known as Elysium Planitia. Buried under millions of years of reddish dust, scientists have identified a cluster of four-sided, geometrically perfect pyramids. And here is the part that will change your reality forever. NASA has officially transitioned these structures from the category of geological anomalies to confirmed artificial monuments. We are no longer looking at weirdly shaped mountains or tricks of the light. We are looking at architecture on another planet. This discovery is moving through the scientific world like a tidal wave, because it shatters the very foundation of our history. For the first time, we have evidence that humanity, or something very much like it, was not the first civilization to build monuments to the heavens. These pyramids aren't just small mounds. They are massive, with a base area 3 times the size of the Great Pyramid of Giza. They are aligned with the Martian poles with a precision that exceeds our own modern GPS systems. And as the dust is cleared away by the localized windstorms of the 2026 season, what's being revealed underneath isn't just stone. It's a complex, composite material that shouldn't exist in nature. We are going to dive deep into how they found them, what the internal scans are showing, and why the official confirmation took so long to reach the public. To understand how we got here, we have to look at the specific spot where these structures sit. Elysium Planitia is the second largest volcanic region on Mars. It's relatively smooth, which is why NASA chose it for various landing missions. But the orbital cameras had always been restricted from certain high-resolution passes over specific coordinates, until a software glitch during a routine update in early 2026 forced the satellite's sensors into an open capture mode. The resulting images were so clear that you can actually see the individual blocks and the seams where the structures meet the Martian soil. Unlike the famous face on Mars, which was eventually explained away as a natural formation, these pyramids have something that geology can't explain. Perfect 90-degree angles and a mathematical relationship to each other that follows the Fibonacci sequence. When the raw data hit the desks at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, the initial reaction wasn't excitement, it was a total lockdown. For 72 hours, the internal servers went dark. But you can't hide a discovery this big when the international scientific community is watching the same telemetry. Independent researchers in Europe and private satellite contractors began seeing the same geometric shadows. The pressure became too much, and in a historic press briefing, a senior spokesperson for the agency admitted that the structures show unmistakable signs of intelligent design and engineering. They aren't saying they were built by aliens from a distant galaxy. They are saying that someone, at some point in the deep history of our solar system, possessed the technology to move millions of tons of material on the surface of Mars. Let's talk about the construction. On Earth, we are still baffled by how the ancients built the Giza pyramids, but the Martian pyramids present an even bigger mystery. In the low gravity of Mars, you might think it would be easier to lift heavy blocks, but you also have to deal with the lack of a thick atmosphere and the intense radiation. The scans provided by the 2026 probe's ground-penetrating radar suggest that these pyramids aren't just solid stone, they are hollow. There are massive internal chambers and a network of tunnels that extend miles beneath the Martian crust. One of the chambers is so large that it could fit an entire modern stadium inside it. These aren't just tombs. They look like habitats or perhaps massive power plants designed to harness the planet's geothermal energy. The mathematical precision of these Martian pyramids is what really clinches the artificial label. When you measure the distance between the 3 primary structures, they match the ratios of the stars in Orion's belt, the exact same alignment found in the Egyptian pyramids at Giza and the pyramids at Teotihuacan in Mexico. This suggests a universal blueprint. It implies that whoever built the monuments on Mars might have had a direct connection to the early civilizations on Earth. Are we looking at a parent civilization that moved between planets millions of years ago? Or is there a shared architectural language that intelligent life naturally gravitates toward? As we look closer at the leaked 2026 footage, we start to see anomalies within the anomalies. Around the base of the largest pyramid, which researchers are calling the apex of Elysium, There are metallic-looking plates that have been uncovered by the wind. These plates reflect the sun with a brilliance that suggests they are made of a refined alloy, not natural basalt or iron-rich regolith. When the probe's spectrometers analyzed the reflection, they found traces of titanium and a manufactured carbon fiber lattice. Nature doesn't make lattices. Only a civilization with a deep understanding of materials science could produce something like this. This is the smoking gun that forced NASA to move from maybe to confirmed. Why the delay in telling us? Well, think about the social implications. If we admit that there are pyramids on Mars, we have to rewrite every history book on the planet. Our understanding of biology, evolution, and time itself would be turned upside down. The religious and philosophical ramifications are enough to cause global instability. But there's also the practical side, the race for technology. Every world power now knows that there is advanced tech sitting on a neighbor planet, just waiting to be claimed. The space race has just turned from a mission of discovery into a mission of salvage. Whoever gets to the Elysium pyramids first and figures out how they were built will become the dominant force on Earth for the next 1,000 years. The 2026 mission is now being redirected. What was supposed to be a routine geological survey is now a primary archaeological dig from orbit. NASA is reportedly fast-tracking a new rover, equipped with heavy-duty drills and specialized AI for navigating artificial structures. They want to get inside. They want to see what is stored in those hollow chambers. There are rumors of Project Hearthstone, a classified initiative to translate potential inscriptions or data storage devices that might be found within the pyramids. If these builders were as advanced as the structures suggest, they likely left behind a record of who they were and why they left. Let's think about the environment of Mars when these were built. We know that millions of years ago, Mars had a thick atmosphere, blue skies, and vast oceans. It was a world that felt very much like Earth. These pyramids were likely built during that golden age. Perhaps they were the centers of great cities that have since been ground into dust by the relentless Martian winds. The pyramids, with their incredibly stable geometric shape, are the only things that could survive the passage of eons. They are the ultimate time capsules. While the cities and the people vanished, the stone and alloy monuments remained, waiting for a younger civilization to reach out and find them. The discovery also sheds new light on other oddities we've seen on Mars over the years. The strange tubes seen in the valleys, the monoliths found on the moons of Mars, and the seasonal methane spikes all start to make sense if you assume the planet was once, and maybe still is, home to intelligent activity. The methane might be coming from the underground tunnels, a byproduct of ancient systems that are still partially active. Some researchers even suggest that the pyramids might be atmospheric processors that were once used to keep the planet habitable. If that's true, we might be looking at the world's oldest abandoned repair project. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 2026 data is the thermal signature of the pyramids. During the Martian night, when the temperature drops to a level that would freeze a modern rover, the pyramids stayed significantly warmer than the surrounding sand. This isn't just because of heat retention from the sun. The heat appears to be coming from deep within the structures. This suggests that there is still an active energy source at the base of these pyramids. Whether it's a decaying nuclear core or a geothermal tap, something is still on inside those walls. The lights are out, but the furnace is still running. Consider the layout of the Elysium site. It isn't just 4 pyramids. There is a platform area that connects them, paved with what looks like massive interlocking stone tiles. It looks like a spaceport or a grand plaza. Under the 2026 high-definition sensors, the researchers found that these tiles aren't just flat. They have micro-grooves that form a massive circuit-like pattern across the ground. When viewed from a certain height, the entire complex looks like a colossal motherboard. This has led to the hardware theory, which suggests the pyramids weren't just buildings. They were parts of a planetary-scale computer. In this light, Mars isn't just a planet. It's a discarded piece of technology. The 2026 confirmation has also brought out whistleblowers from within the military space complex. These individuals are claiming that they've known about the Elysium pyramids since the 1970s, but the resolution of the cameras back then allowed for plausible deniability. They could just say it was a glitch. But with 4K and 8K imaging from today's probes, the lie became impossible to maintain. They are now admitting that the face was a distraction, a way to get the public to focus on a natural formation while they studied the real artificial structures in secret. As we move toward the actual landing missions of the late 2020s, The atmosphere at NASA and other space agencies is one of extreme tension. There is a debate over whether we should treat the site as a World Heritage Site or a military objective. If the pyramids contain weapons technology or propulsion secrets, the first country to arrive wins the future. This is why you see such a sudden and massive increase in Mars budgets from the US, China, and private companies. They aren't going to look for bacteria in the soil anymore. They are going to get the blueprints. What would it be like to stand at the base of the Great Pyramid of Elysium? You would be standing in a world where the sun is smaller and the sky is a pale pink. The pyramid would loom over you, its apex piercing the thin air. You would see the seams of the massive blocks, each one weighing hundreds of tons, fitted together with a precision that makes a razor blade look like a blunt object. You would feel the hum of the internal energy source vibrating through your boots. You would realize, in that moment, that we are not the masters of the universe. We are just the latecomers to a neighborhood that has been active for millions of years. The leaked 2026 report also mentions optical anomalies near the pyramids. During certain times of the day, light seems to bend around the structures, as if they are surrounded by a localized gravitational or electromagnetic field. This could be a remnant of whatever technology was used to protect the buildings from the sun's radiation. If we can understand how they manipulated gravity and light, our own transportation systems on Earth would be revolutionized overnight. We would move from fossil fuels to Elysium tech in a decade. But why were they abandoned? Why is Mars a desert now? Some scientists suggest that the pyramids themselves might have been part of the problem. If you build a planetary-scale machine, you risk a planetary-scale failure. Perhaps the builders pushed the planet's resources too far. Perhaps there was a conflict that stripped the atmosphere away. Or perhaps they simply outgrew the planet and moved on to something better, leaving their old house behind for someone else to eventually find. The 2026 data shows no signs of active biological life on the surface. But the hollow readings for the pyramids suggest that if anyone is left, they are living in the deep levels, shielded from the surface by miles of stone. The discovery is also making us re-examine the moon. If there are pyramids on Mars, why wouldn't there be structures on the moon? Recent reanalysis of older lunar data, prompted by the Mars confirmation, has revealed similar geometric signatures in the Shackleton crater at the lunar South Pole. It seems the builders were active throughout the entire inner solar system. We are looking at a chain of monuments that stretches from Earth to the Moon to Mars. We are part of a cosmic highway that we only just noticed. In the coming weeks, NASA is expected to release a curated gallery of the pyramids. But don't be fooled. The most interesting images will likely remain classified. They will show us enough to keep the public's imagination alive, but they will hide the structures that look too much like modern machinery. They will hide the entrances. They will hide the evidence of the energy source. But independent researchers are already working on ways to unblur the satellite data and find the truth. The era of space secrecy is coming to an end because the technology to see the truth is now in the hands of the people. The pyramids of Mars represent a new frontier for the human spirit. They challenge us to be better, to think bigger, and to realize that we belong to a much larger story. We have spent our history fighting over small patches of dirt on Earth, while a few million miles away, a monumental achievement of engineering has been waiting for us to notice it. The confirmation of artificial structures on Mars is a call to unity. If we want to understand the builders, we have to stop acting like competing tribes and start acting like a planetary civilization. As the 2026 probe continues its orbit, sending back gigabyte after gigabyte of data, the world is waiting for the first inside look. We are waiting for the drone that will fly into the opening of the second pyramid, a dark portal that the sensors say leads directly to the subterranean level. What will it find? Ancient robots? Libraries of crystal? Or perhaps just a quiet, empty hallway that looks remarkably like something we would build today? Whatever we find, it will be the most important moment in our lives. Think about the sheer size of the Great Plaza at Elysium. It's large enough to serve a population of millions. This suggests that Mars wasn't just a small outpost. It was a thriving, bustling world. The pyramids were the anchors of a society that was likely more peaceful and advanced than ours. You don't build monuments that last for millions of years by being a short-sighted or aggressive species. You do it by having a vision that spans across time. As we look at their work, we are receiving a message across a gap of millions of years. The message is simple. We were here, we were great, and you can be too. The secrecy about the pyramids is also failing because of the civilian space race. Companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin have their own satellite constellations. They don't have to follow NASA's blackout protocols. Private analysts are already posting their own 2026 findings on decentralized platforms, showing structure walls that have been cleared of dust by the latest rovers. One image even shows what looks like writing or emblems carved over one of the main arches, geometric patterns that don't match any known human script. The question of who built them is already being met with some wild and exciting theories. Could it be a lost human civilization from Earth's own deep past? Perhaps before the last ice age that figured out space travel and moved to Mars? Or is it an entirely different species that originated on Mars when it was a water world? The genetic data from our own history suggests we had a bottleneck around 70,000 years ago. Is it possible that the bottleneck was when a portion of the population left for Mars, or returned from it? The pyramids are the keys to our own genealogy. As we wrap our heads around this, it's important to keep eyes on the secondary sites. While the pyramids are the stars of the show, there are hundreds of smaller geometric mounds scattered across the Elysium region. These look like secondary buildings, warehouses, or perhaps industrial stations. The more we clear the dust, the more the dead planet starts to look like an abandoned city. It's like discovering New York City after 10 million years of desertification. The skyscrapers would be gone, but the foundations and the subways would still be there, waiting for a flashlight. The confirmation of pyramids on Mars in 2026 isn't just news. It's an awakening. It's the moment we realize that we are part of a cosmic community. The red planet is no longer a world of what if. It's a world of who. Who built the pyramids? How did they do it? And where are they now? As the 2020s roll on, we are going to get those answers. We are going to see the footage of the internal chambers. We are going to touch the metallic plates. And we are going to have to decide what kind of civilization we want to be as we step into the shadow of the Martian giants. Make sure you are paying attention to the ground-based telescopes as well. With the latest sensor technology, even amateur astronomers are starting to see the geometric reflections from Elysium during the Martian opposition when the planet is closest to Earth. The solar system is becoming transparent. The secrets are being dragged out into the light, and the light is reflecting off the polished sides of a pyramid on another world, proving once and for all that we are not the first, and we are certainly not alone. The story of Mars has changed forever, and we are the lucky generation that gets to watch the truth unfold. Keep watching the skies, keep questioning the official narratives, and keep your mind open, because the pyramids are just the beginning of what we are going to find as we finally step off our own planet and into the history of the stars. The confirmation from NASA is the first crack in a dam that has been holding back the truth for decades. Now that the word artificial has been used, the conversation can never go back to just rocks. We are in a new age of discovery, the age of Martian archaeology. Every new image will be a revelation, every sensor reading a new chapter. The pyramids of Mars are standing tall, just as they have for eons, and they are finally ready for us to hear their story. As we look at the final images of the 2026 set, there is one last detail that is truly mind-blowing. On the very top of the smallest pyramid, there is a capstone that seems to be made of a translucent material. Under the Martian sunset, it glows with a soft blue light. Some speculate it's a form of fiber optic light capture, or maybe a signaling device that still triggers when the light hits it at a certain angle. It's a literal light in the dark, beckoning us to come and see what they've left for us. The pyramids of Mars are active. They are real, and they are the greatest discovery of our time. Humanity's destiny is no longer tied just to the Earth. It's now inextricably linked to the giants of Elysium.